Over 2 million people have been displaced in Ethiopia, with thousands more fleeing every week as the country teeters on the brink of collapse. The humanitarian crisis unfolding in the Horn of Africa is being fueled by a devastating civil war, with reports of massacres, rapes, and forced conscriptions becoming all too common. And it's not just the people of Ethiopia who should be worried, as the fallout from this conflict threatens to destabilize the entire region. The implications are far-reaching, with neighboring countries like Eritrea, Djibouti, and Somalia already feeling the strain, and the potential for a broader conflict drawing in global powers like the United States, China, and the European Union. The consequences of Ethiopia's implosion are already being felt, with food and fuel prices skyrocketing, and critical infrastructure like roads, bridges, and hospitals being destroyed or severely damaged, leaving millions without access to basic necessities like healthcare, education, and sanitation. In the past year alone, the Ethiopian birr has lost over 50% of its value against the US dollar, making it impossible for many families to afford even the most basic staples. And the situation is only set to get worse, with the United Nations warning of a looming famine that could affect up to 10 million people. The international community is scrambling to respond, but so far, efforts have been hindered by a combination of bureaucratic red tape, logistical challenges, and a lack of coordination between different aid agencies and donor countries. At the heart of the crisis is a complex and deeply entrenched conflict between the Ethiopian government, led by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, and the Tigray People's Liberation Front, a rebel group that has been fighting for greater autonomy and recognition for the Tigray region. The conflict has its roots in decades of ethnic and regional tensions, which were exacerbated by a series of contentious elections and a disputed constitution, and has been further inflamed by the involvement of external actors, including Eritrea, which has a long-standing border dispute with Ethiopia, and the United Arab Emirates, which has been providing military support to the Ethiopian government. The situation has been further complicated by the presence of other armed groups, including the Oromo Liberation Army, which has been fighting for independence for the Oromo people, and the Amhara militia, which has been seeking to expand its territory and influence. As the conflict continues to escalate, the humanitarian toll is mounting, with reports of widespread human rights abuses, including massacres, rapes, and forced conscriptions, and the destruction of critical infrastructure, including schools, hospitals, and water treatment plants. The international community has been slow to respond, but in recent months, there have been efforts to broker a ceasefire and negotiate a peaceful resolution to the conflict, with the African Union, the United Nations, and the European Union all playing a role. However, the path forward is fraught with challenges, and it remains to be seen whether a lasting peace can be achieved, or whether the conflict will continue to simmer, with potentially catastrophic consequences for the region and beyond. One of the key challenges in resolving the conflict is the issue of tribal and ethnic identity, which has been a major factor in the violence and instability that has plagued Ethiopia for decades. The country is home to over 80 different ethnic groups, each with its own distinct culture, language, and traditions, and the tensions between these groups have been a major driver of the conflict. The Ethiopian government has been accused of marginalizing and oppressing certain ethnic groups, particularly the Tigrayans, who have long felt that they are being denied their rights and freedoms. The TPLF has been fighting for greater autonomy and recognition for the Tigray region, but the government has refused to grant this, leading to a stalemate that has contributed to the violence and instability. The conflict in Ethiopia also has significant implications for the broader region, with the potential to destabilize neighboring countries and draw in global powers. The Horn of Africa is a critical location for international trade and commerce, with the Suez Canal and the Bab el-Mandeb Strait providing a strategic gateway between Europe and Asia. The region is also home to a number of critical infrastructure projects, including the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, which is one of the largest hydroelectric dams in the world. The conflict in Ethiopia has the potential to disrupt these projects and destabilize the entire region, with far-reaching consequences for global trade and commerce. In conclusion, the crisis in Ethiopia is a complex and deeply entrenched conflict that has the potential to destabilize the entire region and draw in global powers. The humanitarian toll is mounting, with reports of widespread human rights abuses and the destruction of critical infrastructure, and the international community has been slow to respond. However, there are efforts underway to broker a ceasefire and negotiate a peaceful resolution to the conflict, and it remains to be seen whether a lasting peace can be achieved. The fate of Ethiopia and the broader region hangs in the balance, and it is imperative that the international community takes action to prevent a catastrophe. The crisis in Ethiopia is a warning sign that the old certainties of the post-Cold War era are crumbling, and that a new era of instability and conflict is dawning. The question is, are we ready to face it? The world is watching as Ethiopia teeters on the brink of collapse, and the outcome will have far-reaching consequences for global stability and security. The situation demands a coordinated and sustained response from the international community, and it is imperative that we act now to prevent a humanitarian disaster.